mid lane tower. Makes it that much harder for him to connect to Q and dive you.
Yeah, significantly less terrifying. Jacktroll, though.
Still scary.
Still scary.
He could just ult you.
They're all picking different bushes to hide in. There's so many wrong choices for SK right now.
This is the worst game of whack-a-mole.
Oof.
They're buying time for Jizuke, because meanwhile, while all this is happening, Sylas is about to hit that bottom inhib tower. No, he's walking over. They're going to dive. Look at the pings.
Selfmade's still incredibly low, and he just used the Predator. Ward is there, though, as pointed out by the observers. Well done. He is now spotted on the flank. Could have been disastrous. Remember, the amount of ults that Jizuke has access to that are so incredibly powerful are just, it's monumental. This
tells you everything about the mindset from Vitality. The fact that Jizuke could have crashed the wave into the tower and gotten some hits chipping away at the bottom inhib tower, but instead the ping comes from Vitality to dive. Like, if he wasn't spotted out by that ward, Vitality are looking to fight.
Absolutely. And of course, in the individual 1v1, he does have the item advantage over Aurelia, but sustained fights, if he can't find the burst, will still be difficult. Kingslayer, a very good tool, but Conqueror, the keystone on the opposite side, will make things harder. Also, get your LEC team pass, guys. Do it. Right now. Available on the client. We're setting up for a big fight. You've got a minute and 30 seconds.
Just tab.
Tab.
Open up the client.
Do it. There it is for you. All right. Bottom side, I like that Pyrion is fishing here, but I don't think he's going to get anything done by himself. But he does. Walk over, sneaks, brings a cat. Nerf cat now coming out, trying to find the CC. Jizuke dodging out to safety, but is it going to be enough? Uses the Gragasol, tries to pull away. Ooh, may not be enough. Jizuke running for his life, flashes over the wall, tries to get tricky, but it's not going to be there in the end. The dash forward, the shutdown, and that's why we call it Nerf cat.
Also got the flash out of Jizuke there. Did manage to get over a thick wall. That is hard credit to Jizuke, but fortunately for him, it was a 2v1 scenario. Nerf cat drove him into the ground.
Good spot. The SK just buying themselves time. Once again, they're in such a huge deficit. The little advantages like this, things that delay the Baron from going down, are so huge for this team.
Yeah, grabbing shutdowns into Aurelia's pocket of world champions. Again, that's where they need to funnel their gold.
No.
But here's the trap.
Death Brush.
He's out.
Not going to happen.
Eventually, they're going to get impatient. And by they, I mean Vitality.
Jacktroll was intimidated. He saw a ground shot there. He's like, I can't hit that guy.
This is the thing about Vitality as a team. I feel like they know what the right play is, and sometimes they have that patience. Sometimes they look very disciplined. But if there's ever going to be a team that's just going to get a little bit antsy, that their skin's going to crawl a little bit when the plays aren't connecting and just try to hard force something, it's Vitality. I just feel it. I feel like there hasn't been enough bloodshed.
What were you saying? Something about just hard forcing a play right over the wall. Surprise crown shot, dodge that. Says Jacktroll, goes in, goes down. That's going to be clean from Vitality. A surprise, Jizuke makes his appearance known, but the pick might just be enough to get this Baron kicked off for Vitality.
And the thing is they're not punished for using Jizuke's TP there because they still have another one onto Cabo Shard, so they can immediately now use Jizuke to zone off the Baron, great control wards on the back half of the pit, and then just try to zone Selfmade away.
Ooh, Selfmade knocked back. 5K getting lower. Might just come down to the smite fight. 11K health. Pyrion may try to buy time to get Selfmade into the pit. 3K getting lower. There's the Aurelia all coming in. Freeze frame. Gotta hold our thoughts for a moment as we move forward. The cat getting a lot of healing down. The goes golden. Selfmade in the midst of everybody. Sakurai on the backside trying to buy a bit more time, but the entire team is getting routed. They do not have the tools to go toe-to-toe with Vitality, and things are going from bad to worse. Yes, they stopped the Baron, but that's so much more gold.
But that actually means a lot. The fact that Sakurai and Dreams were able to plant their feet to actually stop that Baron going down. We got to see some of the cool interactions of having an on-hit cannon in the duration of stun of his ultimate. He's able to actually get off 3 auto attacks and get his press the attack.
Ooh, and Aaron. I like the initial setup, immediately deleting the 80K, the confidence to turn. Jizuke comes over the wall, sadly a little too late to get anything done, but from here, Vitality just going for a big play.
And now here's the one that stops the Baron. Baron does probably more damage to Vitality than SK actually do in this team fight. Attila is untouched for a very long time. Look, still full health and just pushing in every single auto attack. It's only until someone respawns next to him that he's actually hit.
And let's be real, that is a 3.5 item Sivir. You know, 309 CS for 25 minutes, 26 minutes now into the game. You can't ignore that champion. That you can forget maybe about the Jarvan or the Jacktroll Nautilus after he's used his skills, but you can't ever really forget about the Sivir. That champion has to die if you want to come out on top.
And going for the rapid fire cannon as opposed to something like the Phantom Dancer doesn't need the lifeline passive, just needs the extra range. Because again, for Sivir, it's just about getting that one bounce of W in them.
Absolutely. And just poking. Rapid Fire Cannon can be so oppressive in these, especially in siege situations where you have 2 short-range 80 carries.
So I think a big issue here is that a lot of key flashes are down, namely on Pyrian and Sakre for SK Gaming. Selfmade also doesn't help, whereas Vitality have a very strong Sivir, and she still has access to her flash, and no one can really get into that backline. So if we come into another fight where the line of scrimmage is set, Vitality will just win.
Selfmade now knows something's up, knows the Baron is being taken. There's
Deep
TP
teleport.
coming down. Are they going to be able to get it 4K, trying to buy a bit more time with the final chapter here? 3K and dropping Selfmade. Is he going to go over the wall? The control ward is there. Is now doomed to get knocked out, trying to knock the team out of the pit. Pyrian immediately in the midst of the team. Eyes on Attila, though. He's doing so much damage, and he's uncontested.
Exhausted.
The exhaust will go down. Selfmade getting picked off on the backside. Pyrian needs to go in. Are they just going to try to finish it? They desperately want to get it, but Selfmade is out. Can they get it? Will they get taken away in the end? Yes, they do, but they pay the greatest price they can. The Ace for Vitality, the Baron for SK. I'm going to say not worth.
And the minion waves are also set up for Vitality. They immediately walk to the mid lane, say, that's fine, you can have the Baron, this will only slow us down a little bit. They are now knocking on SK's door.
Oh, they're going to get at least 1 inhibitor. They'll break the top lane tier 2 as well, and they are poised now to end the game. Look at those death timers, at least 25 seconds across the board. They're going to have 2 of their weaker members coming in. That's Selfmade and Sakre to try to defend this base, but the Kennen already used the ultimate. The Gragas is not a big enough threat. 1 inhibitor at least now will fall in favor of Vitality.
I mean, the reality is I can understand why SK go for that play. You know, it almost worked out for them. The execution wasn't there, the gold difference wasn't there, but they had to stop the Baron. If they lose it there, they lose the game anyway.
We take a look at this one in the Alienware replay, how SK tried to find their way into the pit. The TP from the Aurelia on the backside of that fight.
And it feels bad just to start, just because Yumi's ultimate doesn't connect with anything. Selfmade tries to get to the pit, Cabochard actually denies him, but it's Pyrian and Crown Shot that really saved the day initially here. Just deleting a lot of Vitality still left into the pit, but Jizuke, Cabo, they walk from the back of the pit all the way around the pit to the front of it, and Attila is still untouched.
And once a team fight starts going in the favor of Vitality, it's going to keep going in the favor of Vitality because you have an Aatrox. And the new ult, yes, you do not get a guaranteed revive, but once you get the ball rolling, it is so oppressive. Jizuke can steal multiple ults, and you have a Sivir for sustained damage. So I feel like if SK make a single mistake, they just instantly lose the fight, guaranteed.
I will say this, though, that people like Aurelia and Xayah actually get to play the game a bit more now because they've completed about 3 items. Aurelia for about kind of 2.5. She's got a couple of pieces of resistances, but she is hitting quite hard. So yes, they lost their mid inhib. Yes, they managed to get the Baron, but then got aced. But they've actually stalled at the game long enough that they do have a chance, depending on how the next 1 to 2 fights goes. If they win, then they can get fully back into this game. If they lose once, it's over.
Will this be the final fight? The siege is now starting up. Rapid Fire Cannon Auto is going to be coming in every so often. Will allow Attila to at least free hit every once in a while to keep the siege going. But now the fight is getting kicked off. Immediately knocked back. Crown Shot has forced to use the ultimate. Jungler locked up. Moe going to take a lot of damage. Pyrian now throwing the ult up, but it goes wide. That cannot afford to miss that. Now Cabochard is the miss of everyone. If he gets the reset here on the kill. Oh, goes gold. This is the perfect setup that the team needs to stop this. Will they find the re-engage? Selfmade goes in 2. Jizuke missing the ultimate there. Soft Life, where's the spell shield? The healing now coming in. Is it going to be up? No! Aurelia!
Then this game can very easily be theirs.
Oh, and you see the start off, it's so important here that Cabochard does not.
Sure, it gets a bit messy, but I look at some of the key individual players and just think about the ceiling that this team has as a potential to be a team fight team. Some of their coordination in like split-second moments is quite scrappy and quite creative.
And honestly, just a highlight fight in that situation where they were at such a deficit. The gold is a lot closer now. No longer is it a discussion of, hey, Vitality are just going to roll over. It is going to be more difficult. It's still an 80 Kennen, still not the strongest champion for scaling to the late game. And that was still a 6v5 in the sense that the SK Tower did a lot of work.
So Sakurai's responsibility as the AD Kennen isn't just about playing a side lane now, and as the AP Kennen, it's not about getting into the middle of a team and doing a bunch of damage. It's actually about zone control. When you have a champion like Xayah and now the AD on-hit Kennen, obviously if he stuns up multiple people with his ultimate, that's great, but he also is creating a very safe zone for Crown Shot to just continue to dish out all of this damage. And when you pair that with the likes of Gragas and Yumi, it's actually really difficult to attack this Xayah.
And that's going to make it incredibly difficult, I feel like, for the side of Vitality, because it's hard to also to ignore the Aurelia in these circumstances, in these fights, because you've seen how strong Pyrian can be and how especially with the Randuins now too. He's a huge threat to Attila.
Yeah, and the cool thing is because it's something like an Aurelia, you see these types of compositions run all the time in the LPL, where you can give so many resources to the AD carry. Yumi's on the ADC, Gragas can push people away, Kennen just stands next to her and says, come at her, I dare you. Pyrion doesn't need any of that. Yeah, Yumi can tag along with her if he wants, but because he's so self-sufficient, he can get in and out of these fights. Aurelia can do whatever he wants.
And that's really the nightmare scenario.
I think it's really cool.
I like it, as someone who plays Aurelia on occasion, poorly. But I feel like for Attila, it's incredibly frustrating, because it's not like Jack Troll is the king of peel supports at this point. This is not a Tom Kemp. That was banned, that was taken away from him. His engage is fantastic, but really has to focus and stand right next to Attila if he wants to stop anything from happening there.
I feel like this is a war of cooldowns. Like, do SK burn all of their disengage cooldowns or their zoning cooldowns before the fight is over? Because if Vitality can outlast that and then eventually get on top of Xayah, who now also has a GA, and kill her, then I think it's just over and won. But if they're able to slow down team fights, SK Gaming, if they can slow down, control the team fight, layer differently when they're using the cask to blow Vitality back, when they're creating space with the Kennen, when they're sending the Aurelia in, then I think they can win the team fights at this point.
There's so many ways for Vitality to burn some of these major cooldowns without starting a fight.
This flank is really important.
It's going to be important. Attila doing so much damage now, cutting through. Pyrion may try to find his way to the backside. Attila now exhausted. Crown shot on the retreat. Pyrion in the midst of everyone, but Sakurai right into the back line. AD Kennen or not, he's doing some good damage onto the team. Pyrion, though, will get resurrected. Attila is still alive. Crown shot, though, moving in for the contest. Wants to get a bit of damage in, but Copper Shard is there with the knockup. Crown shot will be forced out. Dreams needs to find a new host to move into. Pyrion laying down a little bit of damage. Attila running for his life. SK slowly but surely are winning this fight. This is exactly what you were talking about, Frostguard. It's going long enough. Cabo, maybe too much.
They just left him.
Do they want to push for anything more? They have to be so incredibly careful here. The Darkened Blade does an immense amount of damage. Sakurai now stepping forward, looking for the CC, looking for the follow-up. Are they going to be able to get it? Dreams now in trouble. Cabo Shard taken down, and SK win yet another fight.
But do they win in the long term, though? That's the big thing. So many important cooldowns were actually burned in that fight, namely the Guardian Angel away from Xayah. So this flank is so important because, again, Vitality need to figure out how are we actually going to solve this team fight and get on top of Crown Shot. They try to do that, the flank doesn't work out. Mowgli can't connect with his flag and drag, he can't get to the back. But they actually leave Crown Shot with Cabo Shard for so long that he just lands on top of his Xayah repeatedly while they get, I think, distracted with Attila and Jizuke. Look at this. He respawns, Selfmade tries to go into it, and Cabo just, okay, party.
And I mean, something that we talked about was how important it is to kill this Sivir, but you don't always just get to run straight into the back line and find that fight. And Attila backing off, knowing his top laner to get some work done there. And see it here, of course, Aatrox still very threatening, but good on Dreams to make it out of that one. However, SK, they want another fight. They say, give us round 2, we'll kick it off. Baron has now been started. TP is now coming in. Jizuke has already stolen the cannon all once, so right in the midst of everything. Crown Shot throwing out so much damage. They're all grouped up for the Xayah. Is it going to be enough, though? The Sivir now coming in to turn. Jizuke finding the stolen ultimate. Crown Shot is still alive, but it will not be enough. Point and click him down. Attila will find the kill. The double for Cabo Shard. Now the Baron for Vitality, or the base.
And how much did it actually mean in the long run? The fact is they burned all of their big cooldowns. It wasn't the perfect team fight that SK Gaming needed to swing themselves back into it. And Vitality take the next team fight with more cooldowns and are now, again, marching and knocking down SK's base. I think they can end it.
And no matter how you build your cannon, Silas is getting an AP cannon all, taking it away, turning the fight in an instant. Have to give some praise to Jizuke. Attila left standing. Vitality winning against Excel may not have meant much to this team, but winning here against SK is a reminder to what they have been and to what they could be. Vitality will find their second win of the split.
It was a lot in the skirmishes, a lot in the pit, a lot of scrappy fighting. That's exactly what Vitality want to do. They picked their team fights better. They maintained more tempo over the map at critical moments and were able to drive it home.
And it's crazy because anyone